Learn English with Rose and Leo podcast. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Rose and Leo. Today's episode is all about one of the most important skills in English, introducing yourself.
Yes. Whether you're meeting someone for the first time, starting a new job, or joining a class, you'll almost always hear the question, "Tell me about yourself."
And that question can be surprisingly difficult because you know what you want to say in your native language, but in English, it often comes out sounding stiff and unnatural.
Like a resume. My name is John. I am 25 years old. I am from Poland. I like reading.
Exactly. Grammatically perfect, but it sounds like you're filling out a form, not having a conversation.
So today, we're going to help you introduce yourself in a way that sounds natural, friendly, and memorable.
And we'll cover different situations too, because how you introduce yourself at a party is very different from a job interview.
Let's start with the basics. What do people actually want to know when they ask you to introduce yourself?
Well, it depends on the context, but generally they want to know your name, where you're from, and something that helps them connect with you.
Right. The key word there is connect. An introduction isn't just information transfer. It's the start of a relationship.
Exactly. So let's break down the typical elements of an introduction and talk about how to make each one sound more natural.
First up, your name. Now, my name is correct, but it's very formal.
In casual situations, native speakers usually just say, "I'm Rose," or "I'm Leo," much simpler and friendlier.
And if you're in a really casual setting, you might even just say, "Hey, I'm Leo," or "Hi, I'm Rose."
That hey or hi at the beginning makes it feel warmer and more approachable.
Now, what if you have a name that's difficult for English speakers to pronounce?
Great question. You have a few options. You can say your name clearly and slowly, maybe even spell it if needed.
Or you can give a pronunciation tip, like, "I'm Shimon." It's pronounced Shimon.
Some people even use a nickname or shortened version of their name to make it easier. That's totally fine.
The important thing is to not apologize for your name. Don't say, "I have a difficult name. Sorry."
Right. Your name is your name. If people need help pronouncing it, that's okay, but you shouldn't feel bad about it.
Absolutely. Now, after your name, you might want to say where you're from.
Again, "I am from Poland" is correct, but formal. More natural would be "I'm from Poland," or even "I'm Polish."
Or you can give a bit more detail. "I'm from Warsaw," or "I'm from a small town near Krakow."
That gives people something to ask about. If you just say, "I'm from Poland," the conversation might stall. But if you mention a specific city, they might say, "Oh, I've been there," or "What's it like?"
Exactly. You're giving them conversation hooks.
Now, here's where most textbook introductions stop. Name, age, country. Done.
But real introductions don't work like that. Nobody goes around saying their age unless it's specifically relevant.
Right. "I'm 25 years old" in a casual introduction sounds really strange. You'd only mention your age in specific contexts.
Like if you're all students introducing yourselves in class, you might say what year you're in. "I'm a third-year student." That tells people roughly how old you are without stating it directly.
Or in a professional context, you might mention how long you've been in your field. "I've been working in marketing for 5 years."
But in a casual social situation, age just doesn't come up naturally.
So what should you say instead? This is where personality comes in.
Right. After the basics, you want to share something interesting or relevant about yourself.
And this is where people often freeze. They don't know what to share or how to say it naturally.
So let's give some frameworks. One easy approach is to mention what you do.
"I'm a teacher," or "I work in IT," or "I'm studying engineering."
But don't just state it flatly. Add a little something. "I'm a teacher, and I absolutely love it." Or, "I work in IT, mainly with small startups."
That extra detail makes it more conversational and gives people something to respond to.
Another approach is to mention why you're there or what brought you to this situation.
Like at a conference, you might say, I'm here to learn more about digital marketing. Or, I came because a friend recommended it.
Or, if you're new to a city, I just moved here for work. Or, I'm here studying for a semester.
These explanations help people understand your story and often lead to interesting follow-up questions.
You can also mention a hobby or interest, but be specific rather than generic.
Instead of, I like reading, say, I'm really into mystery novels. Or, I've been trying to read more nonfiction lately.
Instead of, I like sports, say, I play basketball on weekends, or I'm training for a half marathon.
The specificity makes you more memorable and gives people common ground to connect over.
Let me give you an example of a natural introduction in a casual setting. Hey, I'm Leo. I'm from London originally, but I've been living here in Warsaw for about 3 years. I teach English, mostly business students, and I'm kind of obsessed with coffee, so I'm always looking for good cafes.
That's perfect because it gives multiple conversation hooks. Someone could ask about London, about teaching, about Warsaw, or about coffee recommendations.
Exactly. I've given them options for where to take the conversation.
Now let me do a more formal version for a professional setting. Hi, I'm Rose. I've been teaching English for about 7 years, specializing in exam preparation. Before that, I worked in international student services at a university. I'm excited to be here today because I'm always looking for new teaching strategies.
Nice. That's professional, but still warm. You've shared relevant experience, but also showed enthusiasm.
Right. Even in formal settings, you don't want to sound like a robot. Showing some personality and genuine interest makes you more likable.
Let's talk about some common mistakes. One big one is giving too much information too fast,
Yes, some people treat an introduction like their entire life story. They talk for 5 minutes straight.
which overwhelms the other person and doesn't leave room for actual conversation.
Your introduction should be like an appetizer, not the entire meal. Give enough to be interesting, but leave room for questions and back and forth.
Another mistake is being too modest or apologetic, especially about your English,
Oh, this drives me crazy. People start with, sorry, my English is not very good.
which immediately frames the entire conversation negatively. You're telling the other person to focus on your mistakes.
And usually their English is fine. They're just nervous.
If you're worried about your English, just speak a bit more slowly and carefully. Don't apologize for it.
The other person will adjust if they need to. Most people are happy to have a conversation regardless of your level.
Another mistake is sounding too rehearsed. Some people memorize their introduction word for word and then recite it like a script.
Which comes across as stiff and impersonal.
It's fine to prepare, but don't memorize exact wording. Instead, know the key points you want to mention and let the exact words vary.
That way it sounds fresh each time, like you're actually talking to that specific person.
Let's talk about body language for a second, because this is huge in introductions.
Absolutely. Your words matter, but your nonverbal communication matters just as much.
Make eye contact, not in a creepy, staring way, but enough to show you're engaged and confident.
Smile genuinely. A real smile makes people feel welcome and comfortable.
Stand or sit up straight. Good posture projects confidence even if you're nervous inside.
And speak clearly. Don't mumble or rush. Take your time.
If you're shaking hands, make it firm but not crushing. A weak handshake can undermine your whole introduction.
Though handshake customs vary by culture, so read the room.
Right. In some situations, a nod or wave is more appropriate than a handshake.
Let's talk about how to respond when someone introduces themselves to you.
This is important because conversation is two-way. You need to be able to receive an introduction, not just give one.
The simplest response is, nice to meet you, or it's nice to meet you.
You can also say, great to meet you, or pleased to meet you in more formal situations.
And then ask a follow-up question based on what they said. This shows you were listening and keeps the conversation going.
If they mention they're from another city, oh, what brings you here?
If they mentioned their job, how did you get into that field?
If they mentioned a hobby, how long have you been doing that?
These questions show genuine interest and help the conversation flow naturally.
One more thing about names. If you didn't catch someone's name, it's completely okay to ask again.
Yes, don't pretend you remember it and then avoid using their name the whole conversation.
Just say, sorry, what was your name again? Or I didn't catch your name.
Native speakers do this all the time. It's totally normal, especially in noisy environments or when you're meeting multiple people at once.
And using someone's name in conversation is actually really powerful. It makes them feel seen and remembered.
So once you've heard it clearly, try to use it. So, Sarah, how long have you been living here?
It feels more personal and engaging.
Let's do some practice scenarios. I'll give you a situation and we'll create natural introductions for each.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, scenario 1. You're at a language exchange meetup. Very casual. People are there to practice languages and meet new people.
Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Leo. I'm here to practice my Polish and help anyone who wants to work on their English. I'm originally from the UK, but I've been in Warsaw for a few years. Anyone else into hiking? I'm always looking for trail recommendations.
Great. That's friendly, clear, and gives multiple conversation starters.
Your turn. Give me a scenario.
Okay, scenario 2. First day at a new job, introducing yourself to your team in a meeting.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Rose. I'm really excited to be joining the team. I've been working in education for the past 7 years, most recently at an international school. I'm looking forward to learning from all of you and contributing to the projects we have coming up. Outside of work, I'm a big podcast listener, so if anyone has recommendations, I'm all ears.
Perfect. Professional but personable. You've established credibility, but also shown you're approachable.
And ending with something personal invites people to connect with you outside of just work topics.
Exactly. Okay, one more scenario. You're at a friend's party where you don't know many people.
All right. Hi, I'm Leo. I'm a friend of Mark's from work. This is actually my first time at one of his parties, so I don't know many people here yet. What about you? How do you know Mark?
Nice. You've explained your connection, admitted you're new to the group, which makes you relatable, and immediately turned it into a two-way conversation.
Right. At parties, you want to quickly establish common ground and get the other person talking too.
You don't want to dominate the introduction. Share a bit, then hand the conversation back to them.
Let's give our listeners some homework. This week, write out 3 different introductions for 3 different contexts.
1 casual, 1 professional, and 1 somewhere in between.
Don't memorize them word for word, but think about the key points you'd mention in each situation.
And if you get a chance to introduce yourself this week, try one of these approaches. Pay attention to how people respond.
Notice what gets people asking questions or showing interest. Those are your strong conversation hooks.
And remember, the goal isn't to recite a perfect introduction. It's to start a real conversation with a real person.
Perfect way to end. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
We hope this episode helps you introduce yourself with confidence and authenticity. Remember, you're interesting, your story matters, and people want to get to know you.
Stay curious, stay confident, and keep learning with us.
See you next time on Learn English with Rose and Leo.